It has a relatively low barrier to entry in terms of actually getting started and opening an account. And it also gives me the power of passive income. It allows me to invest into real estate and other established businesses, with of course decades of sustainability, both of which pay me dividends monthly and every 3 months. So I was writing a video for you guys the other day and a thought came to my mind. What if I lost everything? What if I had to start from zero again? If I had no money, no $14,000 portfolio, somehow lost my knowledge and had to start right back to level 1? What would I do to build myself right back up again? And that's the topic for today's video. I'm gonna give you guys a clear outline of what I would personally do to build myself right back up to where I'm at right now. And not only is this a fun video for me to make personally, I think it could be a great help to all my young hustlers that are just starting out too. So without further ado, let's get into the information in today's video. So the very first thing that I would do is start to structure a plan. I'm a huge believer in having a clear vision. When you know where you're going, it's gonna make things so much easier, trust me. Because you not only know what you're working for, you've hashed out a plan to get where you need to be. Before you get the money, before you start investing, before you start all of that, you gotta have some sort of game plan. I mean, if not, you're just swinging blindly. What I would do is ask myself 2 simple questions. Number 1 being, what am I working for exactly? And in this case, it would be to build my first stream of passive income. And so, once I'd ask myself that first question, I'd move on to number 2, which of course is, how am I gonna get to the end goal? This is where the plan really starts to take shape. I then start to look at my options regarding passive income. I know for a fact that real estate gives you the power of passive income, but it is a bit harder to get into right away. You need strong credit, you need an agent to help you find solid deals, and you need to know how to identify a good property to purchase in terms of its location and things like that. It would definitely be a great source for passive income, but since I'm building from nothing, it would more so be down the line for me. So what's next? I mean, I could start a business, which also gives me the power of passive income. But I'd first have to find my target audience, actually get clientele for the business, figure out what business I'm gonna get into in the first place, how much it would cost to start, who my competitors are, and on top of this, it would actually be pretty difficult to get passive income going fairly quick. Don't get me wrong though, you guys, this is a great passive income option, but once again, more so down the line for me. Which of course brings us to option number 3. The stock market. It has a relatively low barrier to entry in terms of actually getting started and opening an account. And it also gives me the power of passive income. It allows me to invest into real estate and other established businesses, with of course decades of sustainability, both of which pay me dividends monthly and every 3 months. All I would really have to do is educate myself on how things work and get my money up. And so, after looking at my immediate options, I'd go with the stock market to build my first source of passive income. I mean, I love to keep things simple and understandable. At the end of the day, it just comes down to 2 simple questions when it comes to planning for me. Number 1, what do you want exactly? And number 2, how are you gonna get there? I mean, answer those 2 questions thoroughly and you have yourself a plan. So, now that I know what my end goal is and I know what I'd have to do to get there, I'd get to work. Which of course brings me to the second thing I would do. Start to educate myself and get my money up. This is where the importance of knowledge really starts to kick in. It's one thing to start something, it's another to actually know what you're doing. There's quite a few things that I would do to get my mind up to speed again. The very first of which would be to purchase some books. Trust me you guys, these things are actually filled with tons and tons of game. There's a reason why the greatest minds of our time read like there's no tomorrow. They not only keep our minds fit and sharp, they feed us priceless information. So the very first book that I would get would be Stock Investing for Dummies. Remember you guys, I'd be starting back up from zero, so this book would be an absolute game changer. I mean, this book still teaches me new things now. Just imagine somebody that's just starting out. And so, the second book that I would get would be One Up on Wall Street by Peter Lynch. And I actually have it somewhere here in the room hidden, but I just can't find it right now. This book goes into researching individual stocks, the mindset needed to invest, types of investments in the market, and so much more. This is a solid book to start off with as well. I mean, these 2 books alone would provide a strong foundation for somebody to get started. And once I'd have those 2 books under my belt, I'd use the internet to help me even more. There's tons and tons of free resources available to all of us online, and one of which I actually talk about quite often. Investopedia. I was actually recommended to this site by a Charles Schwab broker that I spent a whole day with back when I was 15 or 16 years old. This site has actually helped me a ton. Investopedia has the answer to just about any term you guys don't understand regarding investing. They absolutely came in clutch then and now as well. And they also offer a completely free stock market simulator that lets you invest into real stocks in the real markets with fake money. This is really going to teach you how to navigate the markets and just show you how things work in general. And so the next way that I'd educate myself is a bit unorthodox, but one that works for me nonetheless. And it's going straight to a stock brokerage and asking questions. And I already know what you guys are thinking. Why would they want to help me out anyways? But trust me, you guys, seeing young people interested in finances and investing is very far and few in between. I remember my junior year of high school, for example. We actually had a stockbroker come into one of my classes and teach us about the basics of investing in the stock market. And after his Q&A had finished, I was the only one that went up there to ask questions and get in touch. And I'm not even saying this to brag, it just is what it is. I took my opportunity. But anyways, the Charles Schwab broker was so surprised that I was actually interested in finances and investing at such a young age that he invited me to come to the office. I learned priceless information that day that I will never forget. I'm forever grateful to Mark and the rest of the Schwab team for that. What I want you guys to take away from this is don't be afraid to ask questions. A lot of the time, the other person is eager to help. And as for getting my money up, I'd start to not only look for a job, I'd also start to establish a few side hustles. I was working a grocery store job, working construction with my dad, collecting and recycling cans and bottles from neighbors, and I was collecting change. On top of this, I was learning money management skills from a book called The Richest Man in Babylon, a certified gem in my opinion. Contrary to what a lot of people might say, money does matter, especially in the investment world. I promise you guys won't get far with $500 or $800 for that matter. It would most definitely be a good start though, don't get me wrong. And if I could personally recommend something, I'd say get a job where you deal with people. No matter what we decide to do with our lives, people will always be the mutual connection. We will always, somehow or some way, deal with people. And getting a job that has you interact with people on a daily basis will help you. It's a skill that most definitely comes in clutch when you enter the business field, or just about any other career choice for that matter. As for side hustles, I'd say get creative. You can start a candy business, resell clothes, mow lawns, or do something like resell shoes as well. Freelance is an option too. If you guys happen to be good at something like editing, for example, people will pay you for that sort of thing. Fiverr is a great site that I actually used to use myself. I'd go with that one if I were to take that lane. But all in all, I would know what I would want, which would be to create my first stream of passive income. What I would have to do to get there, which was to invest in the stock market. I'd also have two solid books that would teach me the foundations of the markets, whilst using Google and YouTube and perhaps visiting another brokerage for help. I'd also get a job right away and establish one or two side hustles, while of course stacking my money. That's really all there is to it. I'd be right back to where I'm at now. It really just comes down to how bad you want something. If the desire is there, you will find a way. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to leave a quick like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Thank you for rocking with me till the end. I appreciate all of you, and remember, beat the odds and do the numbers. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.